Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. Manchester City destroy Manchester United as we look at the Sunday results on this channel. As you know, I've done it all on the United stand, but I don't bottle it and I don't hide away just because my team has been humiliated by Man City. A couple of weeks ago, I did a video saying Man City in crisis, and they were. They lost to Arsenal, they lost to Wolves, and that is a crisis for Man City when they lose two Premier League games in a row. But I've done those videos for 3 years in a row now, and they always bounce back, and I expected them to bounce back, and they've certainly done that. And obviously, the absence of Rodri was massive for them. But as well, I mean, I don't know whether you saw Pep Guardiola at the end of the game having a word with Haaland, even though he'd scored 2 goals. That's the excellence, that's the consistency that you need to be successful. Because watching that game today, and we've had a whole 2 weeks of the British media telling us how great Harry Maguire is and how great he is when he plays and how good United are and the win ratio when he plays. And as a Man United fan, and it's not just on Maguire, I'm talking about McTominay, Eriksen, Johnny Evans, just not good enough today in that, central spine. As a Man United fan, and many will know, Harry Maguire plays most of his games against Sheffield United and Copenhagen and Reading and teams like that. He doesn't play these big games. Last season when we got 17 clean sheets, he didn't play. This is the problem. When he played today, he's just not good enough. Erling Haaland should have scored 4 goals. He only scored 2. And I think that's why Pep Guardiola was having a word with him saying, look, you've scored 2 goals, it's a good result, but you should have had more. There was more goals for you there today. And actually, you could say that Erling Haaland, with 2 goals, had a bad game because he should have scored more. There was so much space. Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire are never going to be able to deal with him. I mean, Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire against Erling Haaland is like a race between 2 deck chairs and a Porsche. They're just not going to deal with it, and they couldn't deal with it. And look, whether that's by design from Ten Hag, I don't think Varane was fit. Martinez isn't fit. We didn't buy a centre-back in the summer. But look, I'm not here to talk about Man United. Man United are a mid-table team. Sacking the manager's not going to change that. The club is broken. Man City are going to challenge for the title. I think they'll win the title. And they destroyed Manchester United today. I mean, the scary thing is for me, I've seen Man United twice be absolutely destroyed this season. Not necessarily results-wise, but, tactics and skill-wise. Brighton at Old Trafford, Man City at Old Trafford. It scares me what the likes of Villa, Spurs, Liverpool are going to do to us when we play them. Because I think when we went to Arsenal and Spurs, we've played Spurs already, haven't we? Villa and Liverpool then, and maybe Newcastle when we play them as well. But when we went to Spurs and Arsenal, we did okay, but it was at the start of the season. United are getting worse. We've got more injury problems. The confidence is dropping. The heads are dropping. Watching Man City today in the second half, when they scored the second goal, it was game over, and they actually dropped. Their levels dropped. I bet Pep would tell you that. They dropped. But they played with us. It's like a cat playing with a mouse before it finishes it off. And Brighton did the same as well. They're just on a different level. Brighton are on a different level, and Man City are on a different level. And that's the cold, harsh facts. Man United are just nowhere near. But yeah, so Man City destroyed Manchester United. In relation to, we'll talk about some other games in a minute, but I just want to bring this in, and I didn't want to bring it at the start, but I did want to bring it in because I want to get your comments on this. Did you think it was a penalty on Rodri? Because that is a key moment in a penalty in a Manchester derby. It's a key moment in any game. And I haven't used it because I was very angry about it at the time, but it's not the reason that Man United lost the game. I know Ten Hag said it changed the game, but Man United were never in the game. Like, Man City scored 3 goals and they should have scored another, they had another 3 really good chances they should score. They could have won it 6-0. So I can't say that the penalty cost Man United. Who knows what would happen if it hadn't been given, but I think Man City would have still won. But that doesn't make it acceptable. And there's an interesting fact here that Man City have had an offside goal given to them against Fulham. They've had Kovacic kept on the pitch twice when he should have been sent off. And then they've had that penalty today. Michael Oliver was the referee, by the way, in the Fulham game. He was the referee in the Kovacic game, and he was the VAR guy who told him to look at the penalty today. I mean, that's not a good look for Michael Oliver, is it? Man City have had 3 massive dodgy calls, and he's been involved in it. I mean, it's incredible. But what my main point is that is not a penalty. He doesn't grab his shirt. There's a little bit of a, sort of arm there. I don't think he's going to get on the end of it anyway. My issue is, if you give him penalties for that, you've got to give 10 penalties every game because it happens in every penalty box in every game around the world. So if we're giving penalties for that now, it's a joke. In the second half, Harry Maguire wrestled Haaland to the box, to the ground in the penalty box. It wasn't given. I even said, why is that not a penalty? So I'm not being biased here. I'm saying Haaland should have had a penalty in the second half. It was worse than what Højlund did to Rodri. So why wasn't it a penalty? And this is my point. The inconsistency. It's incredible. You can't be giving penalties like that and then not giving them. But what really wound me up was that yesterday in the Newcastle Wolves game, Anthony Taylor gives a soft penalty. VAR looks at it and goes, well, it's probably not a penalty, but it's not clear and obviously wrong. We're going to stick with him. The penalty's not given in the Man City game, but then the referee looks at it and goes, have a look at this. But it's not clearly and obviously a mistake by the referee to not give a penalty. I don't understand what they're doing. They're making the rules up as they go along, and it's destroying the game. And I'm tired of it. We saw decisions yesterday. We're seeing them again today. And when they're happening in big games like it did with Liverpool Spurs with the onside goal, and it happened with the Kovacic one, and it's happened again today. Obviously, Man City deserve to win the game. But what I'm saying is, you look forward to games of football now, but then you're like, it's not just Man City against Man United. It's not just Man City against Arsenal. It's not just Liverpool against Spurs. It's whatever that Wally in the middle decides to do to ruin the game. And you're just hoping that they're not going to do it. And it's hard. But look, Man City are right back. Of course they are. In relation to the other games, all I can do is give credit to the likes of Aston Villa. I know it's Luton, but you still got to go and win those games. And the consistency is great. Liverpool beat Forest as well. Of course, and Arsenal won yesterday. So the table's starting to take shape, isn't it? I mean, Brighton drawing at home to Fulham. I feel that Brighton, Newcastle are sort of, they're either going to suddenly find some consistency or they're going to be the teams that are just outside the top 5. I mean, it's interesting with United, actually. We've got 15 points because we've lost 5 and won 5. We don't draw. So that will always keep you in touch if you're not drawing games, whereas Brighton have drawn a couple themselves and won 5. So they're only 2 points ahead of United, same with Newcastle. But Villa are now 5 points ahead of 6th place Newcastle. And that's what I mean. There's a gap starting to break now. It's 5 points difference between Newcastle and Villa, between 5th and 6th. So we're starting to see that breakaway. That's a big gap, that is. I mean, it's 7 points between Man United and Villa. But then Villa and Spurs, 5th to 1st, 4 points. That's going to break apart as well. That's going to break apart over the next few weeks. But we are starting to get a breakaway 5 now. Villa, Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal and Spurs all winning at the weekend. And look, I hope for as long as it can continue that we do get that breakaway. I mean, looking at next weekend, Newcastle play Arsenal. If Arsenal were to win that, Newcastle fall further away. Man City got Bournemouth. Tottenham play Chelsea on the Monday night. Villa are at Forest. Liverpool are at Luton. So I wouldn't be surprised if all 5 of those top 5 win, and they are starting to pull away with it. So the Premier League is starting to take shape. I still think Man City will win this league. They were so comfortable today, cruise control, and they've got like the likes of De Bruyne to come back as well. But United are a mid-table team, and Man City are a title-winning team, and that's what happened today. Get your comments in below. What were your thoughts on the refereeing decision? Did you think it was a penalty? I mean, if you did, I'd like to know why it wasn't a penalty for Maguire in the second half, and why we don't always get penalties for that, because people are always grabbing hold of people. And what do you think about the title race now? Do you think those five are going to get away? Can Newcastle or Brighton or a Chelsea or a Man United get anywhere near it? But look, the Premier League is... apart from my side, the Premier League's very interesting at the moment. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. I'll speak to you on the next one.